Hey guys, so I have some DIY projects that I wanted to show you. This will be a soft-spoken video where I am just showing you some of the things I've made, tapping and scratching on them. I did a Daiso haul recently where I purchased some things such as this twine, and I've used it since to create some of these projects. So for those of you interested in that kind of thing, that might not be a separate thing that you can enjoy about the video, just learning a little bit about some DIY projects you could do. So the first thing I'm going to show you is this frame that I have turned into, I'll show you. It's kind of like I've turned it into a place to pin up notes or photos. Once I move this twine, I can give you a better look. Here's the edge of the frame. Someone just was getting rid of this frame. It was a framed like photo. It was like it was a mat and like a kind of a painting in here that was, I don't know, generic purchase from a store or something like that. But and it was really, I didn't like it, but I really thought the frame was cool. It's just plastic. It's not actually metal like it looks, but it looks really nice like metal. I wouldn't call it like a cheap plastic, but it's definitely not like a hard, heavy metal. Also, frames just feel a lot lighter when you remove the glass and the backing from them. So I really like the quality of this frame actually. So what I did is I took the backing off. You can kind of see it looks quite rugged in the back here. I have peeled off this kind of craft paper that was on here. And it was covering the entire back. I took out the actual photo or painting, whatever, and then I took out the glass. And what I did is I actually bent all of these little metal pieces. You see them? Usually when you get something framed, you'll find these metal pieces that can fold over and hold in the glass and the backing and the photo. This was a really good quality one, so these pieces can pull back and they stayed strongly intact as you bend them up and down. Sometimes they'll pop off, but these stayed really strong, so I was able to put this jute string or twine. I attached it to this first hook right here, you can kind of see, and then I just weaved it through. And I've created a really neat little piece that you can put on your wall or your desk. And the idea is that you can take a miniature clip. I'll show you one. I have these size clips that I would basically put along here. And you can put a note, or if you have children and they bring home a drawing, you can just pop it right into one of your clips. You can kind of alternate things, you know, if people send you cards or pictures of their family, or, you know, little trinkets that you get, or a saying that you really like, a verse that you really like, maybe some of your goals or whatever, you can create a really neat space with a bunch of these clips and clipping things to it. So this is just the frame for it basically. And then what I did is I went ahead and I made a handful of other versions of this. So let me show you. I actually really want to tap on this frame a little bit more for you before I show you the other ones. It's got a lot of great sounds on it with all of the different designs in it. It's little detailed designs. Let me show you one more. So this one is really simple. The lighting is not capturing it exactly, but it's like a little square canvas. There you can kind of see the whole thing now, but I took some, what's it called, that tape, there's a name for it, washi tape I think. I had some from another project I had done for fun, and I just taped it along 3 parts here, and then I took some more string and I attached it, and then I put these little miniature clips. They're really small, and again it's just another place where you can put, like I said, photos, notes, etc. And you can like find things around the house and just create fun items with, like, fun things like this with it. Like this was just all laying around my house, except I did purchase the clips and this twine recently, although I did have some other clips that I could have used, but I like these little small ones. And then I just wanted to show you the back. So you can see that these ties are here, and I've got this little tape that's coming around the corner. What I'm going to do to secure this better is I'm going to use some Mod Podge, which is, if you're not familiar with Mod Podge, it's basically, it's kind of like a transparent glue in a sense. So I'm actually going to take these off and I involve you with the DIY process here for a minute. I'm going to take them off because I want to have this on a smooth surface instead of having these clips when I flip this over. That little eye was tricky. Okay, so you can see that I've lined them up. Now I'm going to go ahead and use my Mod Podge. I've brought with me a tiny bit of it. You can get this from Michael's, Target, Walmart, tons of different places online. Mod Podge. If you do crafts, I'm sure you know what this is, but if you don't, it might be a new product for you. So, So I have a paintbrush here that I have brought with me to film this. It's actually a little bit dried, but it's going to work fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put some Mod Podge on the ends of this washi tape that comes over here, just because I don't want it coming up, I want it to be more secure. So I'm just going to dip this in, get a little bit of the Mod Podge, and put just a bit along here, and here, and to just really give it a good solid glue down. I'm going to actually put a little bit on the sides too here. And the nice thing, like I mentioned, it does dry clear, transparent, so you can't see it, but it does have a little bit of a shine or a glossiness to it. You can see it. If I were to paint this on the front, you would be able to see a small distinction between the canvas that is not Mod Podged and the canvas that is. So I don't want to put it on the front. It's kind of all or nothing. If I was going to Mod Podge any on the front, I'd have to put Mod Podge on the entire front so that the surface looked consistent. Same thing here, just get that a real good gluing down. I like Mod Podge more than glue. It's a lot cleaner and less bulky and sticky and that sort of thing. Okay, now the second thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do a little bit of Mod Podge for the twine as well, just to give it that sturdiness, so that when it's used it's not moving everywhere, there's something holding the twine in place. Just giving a little bit of something to keep it. It's tied really tight here so that it's not going to move around, but when you put something heavy on one of the clips or something, you just want to make sure it's not going to move around. You can't see what I'm painting there, can you? So just giving that little bit of glue. Can do on this one. You see the glue? Doesn't need much. Just a little bit of something. And this last one. Okay, and then I have two more on this side. Let's get a little bit more of this Mod Podge. Another really fun way that you can use Mod Podge, you may have seen maybe my journal in one of my previous videos. It's like a light blue colour and says hello on it. I actually made that, and I made it using cutouts from pictures and magazines and such, kind of collaged together, and then I just Mod Podged it over the top, put this on, and it seals everything. It's a really good seal. So I'm going to let this dry now, and after it dries I'll put the clips back on. So for now I'm going to put this down. Now I made a third actually of this same sort of DIY project, so I'm going to show that to you. But I'm just wiping the Mod Podge off, and after this video I will go straight away and use water to clean this off, otherwise your brush will harden and you won't be able to use it again. Okay. So the next one that I did, I actually created kind of like a set, actually. So what I did is I used a number of the products I got from Decor, including the twine, these medium-sized clips, and this material. These were actually like a really small kitchen curtain, this material, but I just cut it up into pieces. Decor, by the way, is a store, it's like a Japanese dollar store, and everything's about $1.50 there, but it's really nice quality things, really good deals. So what I did, I'm going to show you the back. This is the dirty underside. But I took actually the backing to the frame that I showed you earlier, and I took it and I used a glue gun to adhere this piece of cardboard to it. So this front has the piece that was in the frame, and I glued it to this back with cardboard. And then what I did, in order to give it some texture and a bit of, I don't know what to call it, foaminess or something, I took this purple piece of material and I stretched it and then glue gunned it all over here. I'll show you. So I've got it here and here, here, and you can't see it as well, but it's under here. I stretched it across the front of this, and it allowed for me to put this fabric on top of it without seeing through to the under pieces, the frame and all that stuff that I had under here. The purple kind of made a nice layer that can go in between the fabric and the underworkings, if you will. The fabric is a bit translucent, so I didn't want to be able to see through it to the different pods and pieces underneath, so hence how I did it. And then I did the same thing, and I sent the twine around, and then I attached these And then what I meant by making a little set is I actually grabbed some jars from around my house, and I created like a little set to go with it. I'll show you. I will, by the way, put a backing on the board I just showed you that will cover up all of the twine and the glue and everything that's on the back of that particular, I don't even know what to call it because it's not really a name, I don't know, like a picture board, something like that, a note board. What I actually did is I took some mason jars and I used that material that I bought from Decor that I was telling you about, that was originally a curtain. I cut it into some pieces and then I wrapped it around this, and I actually used Mod Podge again to get this to stick to the mason jar. And I pulled it tight so it would be nice and clean without any bubbles or anything. And then I glued the backing, glued it all together, and I pushed the bottom down, 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 I actually created 2 of these. And I thought these would kind of make a nice office set or something like that, because you could put pens or pencils in here, scissors, clips, whatever you need. And it could be right by your, you know, note holder, photo holder at your workspace or in your home. And then on top of that, I made another jar. And this one was just a jar that I had. It was like probably, you know, food came in it, and I just cleaned it and took the label off. The way that you can get the labels off of things. I tried a few things, and I actually found that the thing that worked best to get large labels off of glass jars like this was a hairdryer. You just take a hairdryer and you put it on high heat, and you, for that 1 minute, just go all the way around the jar, the label, and it heats up the adhesive. And after about a 1 minute time, be careful because it makes the jar, the glass, hot, but you pull one of the corners and just, it pulls off really nicely, the label. Another way you can do it is with vinegar, but I actually found the hairdryer worked best. Okay, so once I got the label off, I took the twine and I busted out my steady Mod Podge, and I put some onto the jar, and then I just wrapped this twine all around it, just really all the way down to the bottom. Got that sealed, put some extra Mod Podge on this, got it sealed, and voila, I have a cute little jar. And then at the top I put a piece of this material again, just kind of tie it in at the very top with some, I used a hot glue gun actually, because this was thicker and needs to stick a little bit more strong. But yeah, you can just put something in it. It looks like it was like a pickle jar or something. Of course you want to clean it really well so it doesn't smell. This wasn't actually a pickle jar, but you get my point. It's some sort of something came in this, and it works really well. So I thought those 3 together would make a nice, you know, set. The last thing I wanted to show you, I'm not quite done with this yet. I feel it needs something else, but this was an olive oil jar. It's a really pretty jar. It's really tall, it's really long. I did the hairdryer, I took the labels off of it, and I tossed it in the dishwasher after that, so it would just get really clean. And then I thought it would be really pretty with some twine wrapped around the top like this, kind of a rustic feel. Although this is kind of a rustic feel, I guess. So I did it about 3/4 of the way up. Just that was a style decision that I made. And I like it, but I feel I did it a little bit, I don't know, lopsided or something like that. I think I need to do a second layer over it, which I might do. And one that I would actually use in my space is probably this one, in terms of my style. This gold one. So sometimes I get things from people like, I don't know, a card or something that's kind of meaningful that I don't want to throw away, but I also don't want to tuck it somewhere and never see it again. So it's kind of like an in-between place where I want to see it for like some time, and then I can either decide after that if it's not really something I want to keep forever, that I can toss it after having seen it for a long time on my board, or if it's something I think to myself, that's something it's really special, a note from someone very special to you, a very meaningful note, you could keep that. You could put it in a place that's very safe and you can have it for the long term, but it's kind of like a nice middle ground. It's kind of like your refrigerator, you know, where you put things up with magnets. Kind of a cute place for some stuff like that, but you could be a little more creative with it. And you just put these little clips all over it. You can get all sizes. These are the really tiny ones that you can clip on, or you can do the medium size like I showed you on the others. There are also really big ones, of course, too. So let's see. These are such big items that I can't bring them all up for their final appearance on the video, but I will bring up my little set here. So we've got this one. And like I said, I made 2 of these, but I only showed you one. Kind of a little matching set. And then this one. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you sleep well, and I really appreciate you guys. Thank you. Good night.